Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live edition of the Journey to DevelopHer podcast. We have one of my dear friends that's joining us today on this podcast. His name is Amir Jeffrey. He's from Newark, Essex County. We know each other from way before I even got into real estate. Welcome to the podcast, Amir.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So I wanted to bring you on here because you have gone through the process that so many others, who's looking to get down payment assistance, closing costs paid. You already went through the process. So I said it's a no-brainer to bring you on here. You could tell us about your experience of using the NACA program and or if you use any other down payment assistance programs in the past. And if you actually went to the closing table with that program. I know, I think you went on a journey just getting to the closing table with purchasing your first home. So one, I want to talk about, you got your house for a steal. Can you tell us a little bit about your first real estate purchase in the city of Newark, New Jersey?
Yep. So I went through the Urban League to purchase a brand new, from the ground up, new construction, 2-family home. The steal is more like robbery because I got it for $240 in today's market. And when I went and did my appraisal on it, it came back at damn near $400,000. So that's a nice little bit of equity in the house.
That's beautiful. So the blessing is, like you said, there's equity and you can tap into the equity, correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. So you were able to purchase a 2-family. I'm assuming, is it a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom unit?
It's a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, those are actually selling for about $500,000.
Yeah, now. I argued on that appraisal, but I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna live with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we both foresee the future of Newark being even more elevated. The prices are sky high, and I think it's a blessing that you were able to benefit from using whatever program the Urban League offered at the time. I guess they redeveloped a certain amount of houses, right?
They actually have about 5 more houses going up right now across the street from me. And they said that they're going to continue that, throughout Newark. Yeah.
Okay. So, and how did you find out about the Urban League selling houses? Like, how did that come
about? I was wrecking my brain, going crazy, looking for some property in Newark, and I just bumped into them one day, surfing the internet. I just randomly ran into them, and when I actually spoke to the guy from the Urban League, I was like, man, you probably done answered my dreams, man.
That's amazing. So when we spoke about this time last year, you were going through the process of dealing with the NACA program.
Right.
So can you tell us about your experience, good or bad, dealing with the NACA program?
Yeah, well, I didn't have a good experience with NACA at all. I really didn't. I didn't like my counselor. I didn't like her supervisor. It was a lot going on because they make you jump through a lot of loopholes, even though, they'll pay for your down payment. They'll take care of your closing costs. You can even buy down on your interest rate. Right. I think because so many people are trying to get into that program, like they are overloaded with work. So,
right.
Especially in Newark. I don't know about other cities,
Right. Yeah, I've heard that the typical closing time frame would be about 6 months to a year. Yeah. I mean, I've spoken to the CEO of NACA in the past, and he's like, well, we've closed deals in 45 days. And I'm like, okay, I hope that's the case when it's time for me to utilize your program for my house sales. But you came prepared. So typically NACA, and many of you may not know what NACA is, it's the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. correct? I think that's the acronym.
I always forget to. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, right. I don't work for them, so I don't need to know their name, right? Yeah. But they're basically a nonprofit who fights economic justice in the urban communities. They offered down payment assistance. They feel like everybody deserves to be a homeowner.
Right.
And they don't only just work with urban areas. They work with anyone in the United States that's looking to buy a house. I believe they're in all 50 states. They pay down payment assistance. They are not looking for a good credit score, which is good. So they don't have a credit score requirement. I want to say they're looking at the debt to income ratio, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And they're not really looking for an income cap either or a requirement, but everything needs to look good on paper. So your debt to income ratio needs to make sense.
It is an income cap.
It is
an income cap. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but if you're making that type of income, you really wouldn't need NACA, right?
Right. So, I lost my chain of thought. Where I was getting at was you came prepared. You had a decent credit score.
Right.
You were in the guidelines of the income.
Right.
Technically, you didn't really need the down payment assistance, right? But you were like, hey.
In the end, I didn't even use NACA. I had went to Valley National Bank because they also had a good home buyers program going on. 3% interest rate, no PMI, no points whatsoever. So I went through Valley National Bank because NACA was kind of dragging their feet. And I was like, listen, this is such a good deal. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went ahead and paid my own down payment and my own closing costs. Yeah.
Right. And I think that was the best thing to do because you didn't want to lose out on the opportunity. Now, I think it was a blessing in disguise because with NACA, they don't really let you move and shake like an investor, right?
No.
You wouldn't have been able to cash out or refi in your house, which you could do. Right. Yeah. You wouldn't. I think we read those clauses together in the past. And I think it was either them or some other paperwork you showed me.
I think it is NACA, but they have such a low interest rate also because I think theirs is 3.25 or something like that. So
yeah, it's very, very low.
I wouldn't want to refi on them.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. But the good thing is you were able to lock down that deal, get it closed. You came prepared. So you were not the person that was desperate to wait around. You came prepared. You had your money ready. You was like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move my family in this home. So I thought that was a beautiful situation. So
thank you.
You're on a great start to your real estate investment journey. And what's next for you?
I'm trying to get some more multifamilies in Newark. I would really like that. I'm looking for some vacant lots right now. Like I was telling you the other day, I'm trying to find out how to get some vacant lots in Newark. But, it's difficult because, like I was saying the other day, I went to the auction that Newark just had, and a regular lot, 2,500 square lot was going for $126,000. And it blew my mind because I'm like, who would pay 100 racks for a vacant lot? Like, because you still got to build on top of that lot. So,
right.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. So, first of all, I appreciate that you even came to me asking me anything before the auction, after the auction. Yeah. And I kind of told you my opinion before the auction. Yeah. And I told you that I personally wasn't sure if I was going to put in a bid, mainly because I feel like it was open season. Like,
I didn't see that happen because I didn't attended like tax lien bids before. So I see them, they bid past the premium and some outrageous bid on the property. Right. But, I thought this auction would be just a little bit different. I thought it'd be a little bit more exclusive to the people in Newark, because it's hard for a regular individual to keep up with an investor that's coming in cash,
Agreed. So, I mean, and, we had a conversation off the air. We're going to figure out a way that, for one, we're going to be investing affordably, right? We're not going to be going into markets or focusing primarily on markets that are just overpriced and not affordable for us to hop into. we're gonna, in some regard, I'm sure, partner on some deals in the future. Hopefully, we can actually get you designated as a developer as well, and kind of show you, the ropes on how to get the city of Newark, or even maybe East Orange, Irvington, to say, all right, let's focus on this developer, this Black developer from Newark, vested in Newark. Let's give him like 2 or 3 lots. Not give you, but for a cheap price, let's get you some lots at $6 a square foot. Even $10 a square foot is fair.
That's excellent.
100K.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't understand it. I was expected to go up to maybe 30, 50, but when I saw it going into the 80s and the hundreds, I'm like, what are they doing?
So what was that process like? It was all virtually online, so you could just see the numbers going up.
Online. Everything was online. Yeah,
that's crazy.
You have to go down to Newark before the auction started, put in your deposit in person, and then after that, everything was online.
And I just thought it was weird. They were stating that city council still would have to look at the bids. I'm like,
yeah, for what?
For what? I mean, what if they didn't go with the highest and best bid? I mean, I'm assuming they did, but I just thought it was interesting. I should have invited Keith Hamilton to this live.
To this live?
Well, yeah, we could add more people because he works there, right? But I'm sure he'll be watching later. Yeah, put him on the spot. Like, what happened there?
Yeah,
but maybe with the Newark Land Bank or the Invest Newark that they're opening up,
right?
It'll be more privy to investors in Newark, invested in Newark, living in Newark, at least in Essex County, right? They'll give us a shot. Right. So I'm praying on that, and I do. They mean well. They do. They really do want us, people from the city of Newark, from Essex County, to benefit from what we will call the preservation of Newark.
Right.
And many others are going to look at it as the gentrification of Newark. But they do want to see that the people of Essex County, and Newark especially, they'll get the opportunity to benefit and build and contribute to their community. So I do get that vibe from the mayor. Definitely from, what's her name? Allison Ladd. Yeah. Definitely from Keith Hamilton. And many of the councilmen and women. I do get that vibe. So I don't know.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I'm gonna get in contact with Allison. We'll try to get in contact with Allison.
I'm gonna send you her email. I didn't forget. I'm gonna send you her email after this interview, and just reach out to her, like I said before. So, do you have any questions for me regarding the process of becoming a developer in the city of Newark, or the whole process of what needs to be done to even present our opportunity to Newark, like a plan to build a house in Newark?
So how do you go about that, introducing a proposal to the city of Newark, and what is the process? That's a good question. Yeah.
So for me, I started with my first meeting at economic development, and then I had hired some type of business consultant, and he got me in a meeting with Keith Hamilton. So currently Keith Hamilton is the real estate manager,
right,
for the city of Newark. So you do have to pretty much go to him first. Typically, they have a list online on their website, or he'll hand you a list with the available lots or houses or buildings or whatever they have. And then he's going to say, pick some, and then 9 out of 10, one of those lots are not going to be available. So he'll say, well, this is available right now. These are the ones you can choose from. Right. At least that's how it went for me. Then what they'll want to see is they'll give you, so you put in an LOI of the lots that you want. You put in an offer typically.
For people that don't know what the LOI is, what is an LOI?
LOI is a letter of intent. And you pretty much state, all right, I want X, Y, and Z lot, and this is how much I want to pay for it. Right. And I can close in this particular time frame, And also it may say I'm paying cash. It'll have all your contingencies there. So it's pretty much an offer.
Okay.
All right. So I handed in something like that to them. Again, the process is all over the place. But ultimately, they got back to me and said, okay, this is available, this isn't available, but these are the replacement lots that you can get. So then I had about 2 months, I would say, to take the lots that they gave me and create a pro forma. I had to create an executive summary. I had to come with plans showing them what I was actually going to build on the lot.
Right.
Which was the whole process. And I'm actually still going through the process.
Right, because you never got the lots. Right. Yeah.
So that's Newark. But East Orange, I went through the same process.
Okay.
So East Orange.
What was the time frame? How long after?
It took a year.
A year.
It took a year East Orange to total. Like I actually closed on East Orange.
Okay.
Last month, I believe I closed on East Orange.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Now their process was, again, I don't want to say they're a little bit organized, but they are. So I actually had the opportunity to meet with a few city council members in one boardroom. Like I had to present my whole plan. I didn't know what lots I was getting before going to that meeting, because they actually came to me and my business consultant and said, here's the lot that we have that we want Deontay to buy. So that situation was a little different. They just wanted to get them off of their, I don't know, whatever schedule they had. So they wanted to get rid of them. Right. So make a long story short, I had to come with about 4 to 5 different renderings, which is pretty much a 3D image of what you plan to build on a blank lot or a vacant lot. So I had to come with 3 to 5 or 4 to 5 different renderings. Right. I had to meet with an architect. I had to get a survey done at some point, which all of this stuff costs money.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
And then you don't even know if city council is going to approve it or not. So that was just to show them what I had in mind. So and then they said,
in the dark.
Right. And the same process for Newark. Like you have to do this for Newark too. And look, I didn't even close on Newark yet, right?
Right. Yeah.
So sometimes development, you do have to come with some development costs up front. I have tricks of how to get it done at a cheaper rate, but typically a rendering will cost you about $1,100 per rendering. A survey can cost you $1,000 to $2,000 per survey. So,
and then they want you to get like let's say they gave you 3 lots, you still have to come with like 5 renderings just in case, right? Correct?
Yeah. Well, they didn't say I had to have 5. Yeah. But I can't remember what happened. But for Newark, they are going to say about 3. East Orange will say about 3. But yeah, you got to come with options, because if they don't like the design, you can't build it. So in that meeting, they was like, this doesn't fit the infrastructure of East Orange, so you can't build that. Okay. Which was fine. Whatever. They actually went with the infrastructure or the build that was actually the cheapest. So that works for me. Because cosmetically, it went with the neighborhood. Okay. So that was okay. And then I don't even remember when that meeting was, but it was months ago. Okay. Months ago. Probably back in October.
Oh, wow.
I had that meeting with East Orange. And I had submitted my first pro forma. So they want to see the numbers first. Before you even get to that meeting with City Council, they want to see what is the cost to build, how much are you going to resell it for, how much if you're going to keep it, how much could it rent for, what's the market rent rate. You still had to submit the renderings at that point too. They want to see what the design looks like. I'm over here blinking. But then once we got, hey, Yolanda. But then once so that was submitted in May of 2019. So then fast forward to October 2019, we had that meeting. So we had the planning board there, the zoning board there, all the people that would typically reject your proposal to build
Right.
They were in the room. So the good thing is they're not going to reject me in the future because they already gave me the preliminary approval in that meeting. And then what they had to do is sign off, like all of city council had to sign off on my plans, which they had to do a hearing for it. I didn't present for that one because I was out of town. But my business consultant was the one that presented in front of all the city council. But we had to write a proposal saying what we're going to do for the community. I put my heart into it. Like, I'm a community-based developer.
Right.
Everything I do is community. So in my proposal, I'm like, this is what I want to do for the community. If they're from East Orange, I want them to have some type of, I want to get some type of HUD home funds so I can make the houses cheaper for the people of East Orange.
Right.
I wasn't trying to hear that, but at least that was my plan, you know?
Yeah.
Because the cost of bill is high and the taxes are high. So then I at least said, well, you have to give me some type of tax abatement.
Right.
This house. We still don't have that in writing, but we're working on it. So I came with all of these different things. I told them that I'm working with local banks and national banks, such as NACA. NACA is not a bank, but it's a nonprofit.
Right.
So I told them we're nonprofits and banks, local banks and lenders, to make sure we're providing affordable home loans to the people from these communities. Because believe it or not, our people still face discrimination.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah, so, and that's why I do like NACA a lot, because they're fighting against the discrimination. Okay. So with all that being said, and I'm also on that same mission, I'm on that same wavelength. I want people to benefit from home ownership, also look at their home as an asset versus a liability. Too many people in our communities, they do become homeowners, but they don't know how to upkeep their house. They don't know how to prevent foreclosure. They don't know how to make money from their house. So, and that's just an educational defect. So I think now, right now,
I've been having that conversation a lot about the financial literacy in the community, and it's very low.
And thank God, I feel like we're in the information age. So everybody has access to free information on YouTube. And this is why I want to build a platform. I'm not want to, I am. This is a platform right here, because for me to get to this point, it wasn't easy. And I didn't even do things like everybody else. I did it with nothing, with no money, right?
Right.
So if we could teach others,
everything.
Credit didn't even have a car.
Congratulations, y'all. Right.
Thank you. Like, I didn't even have a car, literally. So if I could do it, and if so many other women and men out there could do it with nothing, we need to be sharing their journey on how they did it.
Right. Gotcha.
You know, so this is why I built this platform, to just educate people. There, you have options out there. Even when you have nothing, you can still make money in real estate.
Absolutely. Real quick, I got another question for you. With your development in East Orange, right? Was the financing? Was it difficult? How was that journey for you?
Okay, so before COVID, it was, I had a lot of private money, well, even now, but before, there was a lot of hard money lenders, we'll say, that was willing to fund the project. Now there are a few that I'm considering, but now I'm just doing private money. We're not even using the hard money lenders. But you did, before COVID, have a lot of hard money lenders that were willing to fund the project.
Right.
Now, again, not so much, but it's okay. So because I've been building relationships, because it's such a sweet deal, there's people that just want to give money to make money off of the project. Right. So everybody, when you think of a real estate investor, many people think of a real estate investor being the person that's building a project, the person that's rehabbing a project. But you can invest in real estate with using your money passively. So you could just say, here, I'm going to loan you let's say it's $300,000 to build these 2 houses. I expect to get back at least 15, oh, not 50, we ain't gonna start that high. 6 to 15% interest back on my money in 6 months. Okay, and that's many investors' ways of just putting their money into a project and collecting and reaping the benefit of it when they get the return on their money.
Okay.
So what I will say is, a lot of people, even now, they're willing to give their money to be a part of the project without technically being a part of the project. And they trust my business model. They trust me. They trust the companies that I'm working with and the GC that I'm working with. So they're willing to give the money. So if you have a good deal and the numbers make sense, they're going to do it.
It's easier to find the finances. As long as the deal makes sense, you can find somebody to finance that deal.
Yeah. Right. That's the number one thing. Getting the property or the land, and the numbers have to make sense. You're making money when you close on the property, not when you sell the property. So the cheaper you buy the property for, or you have it under contract for, is where you make your money. You can't really depend on what it's going to sell for when you're done with it, especially in this economy. We don't know if the market is going to continue to go up or if it's going to crash. Yeah. So you want to make sure going in, you bought it cheap. You can refinance just in case you can't sell it. And your cash flow in the property is great.
Right.
I don't even worry about I have a project right now. It just fell out of contract. You think I'm worried? No, because I'm like, all right, I'll just refinance and I'll keep $2,000 a month in my pocket. I shouldn't even sell the property anyway. I should have kept it. So you have to go into that project thinking, all right, just in case I got to keep it, is this a good deal?
Right.
And that's what your lenders or these private money lenders are looking at too. In the event that it all hits the fan, is this a good deal or not?
Right.
And as long as it makes sense, they're going to give you the money. Now, you do have to network with people that have money. We can't be going, this is a God podcast or a Christian podcast. But what I will say is you can't be networking with people that just don't have the money, right? But maybe they know somebody that have money. But I would recommend networking with going to virtual now, right? Virtual meetups. They have them on meetup.com.
Right.
Networking with people there. That's how you would find private money lenders. Facebook is a good source.
Right.
There's a lot of scam artists on Facebook as well, but
there's a lot of scammers on Facebook.
Yeah. LinkedIn is a good place. Typically, those people have money. But there's scams everywhere. But don't be afraid. I've had people meet people on Craigslist, and it turned out to be legit. So you just have to vet people, have discernment, and see all right, who are the movers and shakers, who actually know where to find the movers and shakers, because maybe they don't have it all together, the person you meet, but they know people. They're a great connector, so they'll be able to connect you to people or tell you where to meet people at, especially if you're just starting. I'm just gonna place this down really quick. But yeah, I hope that answered the question.
You
world on that one.
Yeah.
Yep. So funding for my project, we pretty much have funding. The funny thing about it is, most recently, some other developer who hasn't been designated in Newark yet, he's like, yeah, I'll pay you $50,000 per lot just to join in on your project. So he's willing to invest $100,000 just to become a partner for the lots in East Orange. And he's willing to do that because it's a good deal. Hi, Malik. How are you? So yeah, he's willing to do that. I actually turned him down on that opportunity because I want to keep, I'm going to keep the East Orange lots, houses once I build them, because they don't require me to sell them. I hope nobody from East Orange is listening, but they didn't require me to sell them.
Right.
Newark, you have to sell. Oh, me and you were talking about that. Newark.
Right. I've never heard that before.
Well, they're making me sell it. Maybe for you.
Yeah. I hope it would be something different for me, because anything that I do invest in to develop, I want to keep it in the family. Yeah.
Right. I think everybody should be on that wavelength of just building generational wealth. So, and I mean, when you pass, your kids' kids still have that house in the family, and they're still generating income from that family. I think that's important. So I agree with you, but I'm not sure what they're going to do. Now, maybe let's talk about this Urban League, right? Was that program only for first-time home buyers?
Yeah, so it's only for first-time home buyers.
What if you have you never used FHA before? It had to be your first house?
I believe so. I believe it really has to be your first house, or you sold your first house, and because it's a owner occupant type of property.
Okay, so you have to live there. Okay, absolutely. So technically, even though I'm an investor, I don't live in my house. Any of I rent still, so I could go to Urban League and potentially buy a house through them at the $240 price. Because none of my houses are in my name.
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. You would have to speak to them about that. Yeah, you would have to speak to them about that. Possibly they would let you purchase a home from them.
Yeah. And they allow you to put, so you can rent out your second unit for income. They're not putting a cap on how much you can rent it for or anything crazy.
I think it has to go at market rate. So I got my uncle downstairs, so I gave him a family discount, you should say. So I'm not charging them the full price I would charge someone else for rent. But you can't just jump out the window. And plus, Newark, we have rent control here, so you can't jump out the window with them.
And they just implemented rent control recently, right?
Right.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, the funny thing about Newark and East Orange, the Section 8 price is higher than the market rent. So,
yeah, I can tell people, man, this rent is not cheap, man. Get yourself a investment property, because the rent is not going down. It's just
it's not
going up.
And even more now than ever, you have a lot of homeowners. Personally, have called me and said, "I'm going to lose my house. I have to look at options to rent." So I'm just scared to see what's going to be in 2021. I think for people that are knowledgeable, they'll be just fine.
Right.
Some people may have to readjust and pivot and may have to become renters again. Right now, I feel like our government is doing a lot to protect the renters.
Right.
And to protect the homeowners, but not so much to protect the investors. So maybe, I mean, if as an investor, if you have yourself set up correctly, like for you, you'll be okay because it's an FHA loan, right? Or conventional?
No, it's conventional. Actually, even though I didn't put 20% down, it's still conventional.
It was 3%, right, or 5%?
3.5. Yeah.
Okay, good.
3%. I'm sorry, 3%.
So, someone like in your situation where you're a first-time homeowner, they may protect you, but somebody that has a large portfolio, they're not going to be protected.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to have Section 8.
Right. So the government is giving you your money every month.
Right. In the event, right. In the event
that a lot of homeowners are suffering right now because they haven't been getting paid their money. I saw something the other day where New Jersey was doing something for the homeowners where if their tenants hasn't been paying rent for a certain particular time, that they were actually giving them grants to help out. But other than that, I haven't really seen anything to protect homeowners that much either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a lot of weird stuff going on. They had some rental assistance, but I can't tell you how many people actually got approved for it. I heard a lot of people got rejected.
Right.
Of course, there's a cap on it. The good thing is they're doing it throughout the United States. Trump passed something the other day. If you're making under 100K, you will get some type of forbearance on your rent if needed until the end of the year. But you still need to pay your rent. Like it's still going to be due when they call it due. So I advise people, if you have money, if you're making money, if you're working a job, pay your rent because you will get evicted eventually. Even if you have to pay it late, but pay your rent.
Because you definitely don't want that eviction on your credit report.
That's worse than like a bankruptcy nowadays.
It is.
It is. And I was even thinking about just like relocating because I'm tired of East Orange. I was like, I want to go back to Montclair. And the process to get an apartment now is crazy. Even as a realtor, me looking for apartments for other people, they're grilling people. They want to talk to your previous landlord.
Wow.
To see if you've been late during Corona. They want to see bank statements. They want to see tax returns. They want to see pay stubs.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
I told them I was self-employed. This lady actually was like, well, I don't want you. I'm like, you would want me? I'm self-employed. No, she didn't want me. I got rejected.
Wow.
Said, wow. Okay, I'll just stay where I'm at. So it's a lot happening in our real estate forecast currently and what's going to come in the future. So I had to just have this conversation with you on the internet because I feel like this can bless somebody that don't even know what the urban league is, which is another nonprofit maybe somebody that doesn't know about NACA. It may benefit them even though it didn't benefit you in your time frame, right?
If you want me to, I could give you the information for the urban league so that you could post somewhere so that people could know how to get in contact with the urban league, or give them NACA information so that they know how to get in contact with NACA, or anything I can help out with.
Yeah, definitely send me that. I will post it I'm going to save this live. It's going to be posted to YouTube and on Facebook, so we'll be able to add those comments in there.
Okay, cool.
I know you're going to be a great real estate developer.
I'm putting my best foot forward.
Yep, we're gonna get you in an affordable market.
Okay, cool. Okay. Right. It may not be Newark, but we're gonna get in there somewhere.
Right. I don't know. We had this conversation, maybe AC, maybe Newark. Again, we're gonna get you in contact with the right people in Newark. Maybe 2 or 3 houses you could build. Again, I don't know about the whole selling it thing or keeping it thing, but at least for those, maybe you just have to sell it, whatever, but at least you have the experience. And then we work on getting you in Ohio. We work on maybe Atlantic City.
I'm scared of Ohio.
It's only 6 hours away. It's not that far.
Yeah, that scares me. You know what? I'm just so comfortable, being in a market that I could understand a little bit more.
It's all the same. Huh? It's just like Newark. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you keep saying.
And some parts is even nicer. Actually, I could live in Ohio, in Cleveland specifically. I could live there because they have really nice areas. Even
I can visit one of these days. I definitely have to come visit.
Right now, I'm in the middle of Kansas City, and it seems like home.
How many projects you got going on out there?
Oh well, I only got one now.
Okay.
So right now, I do have a lot that I own here. I think I'm just gonna put a modular or just not even a modular. I might just get a trailer. Right. Just throw it on there because those are cheap. You can get a trailer for like $5,000. And you can still collect $1,000 rent in there. So
yeah, I was hearing about this whole trailer park investing not too long ago, and it's money in trailers. I didn't even know New Jersey had trailer parks, and they're nice.
Right there in Wayne, they got a trailer park, and I think in Lodi they got one as well. And you wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and then I have a few lots that I'm trying to close on here as well. Everything's a process, especially when you're getting them cheap. It's a process. Someone did send me one for $3,500, but it's really far. I'm considering it because it's a 6,000 square foot lot.
That's big.
So maybe I could put like a 3-family on it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's far. It's nowhere near where I am. It's like 3 hours from Kansas City, Missouri. So I'm like, that's a little far. So we'll see. But locally, they have lots that I could purchase as well that I've been looking at. I really want to build communities where our people can afford to buy. And, that's that.
Yeah, you really need it.
Show them how to buy their first home in their own community. Make sure it's a income property as well. So make sure it's a multifamily.
Right.
It may not be their forever home, but it'll be a home that'll stay in there for Emily forever, and they can benefit and rent it out and collect income from that property forever. So those are some of my goals, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is God's time, right? Even though that year it went by fast, but I'm like, why it took so long? But it was necessary to take that long. I would have been stuck at the beginning of the pandemic, just stuck.
Yeah, I just barely made it in. Like, as soon as I was supposed to close, like, everything just started shutting down. I'm like, oh, I just barely made it through that door of opportunity. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm proud of you.
No, thanks I'm proud of you. You're a huge inspiration for me.
Thank you. No, if I make it, you're gonna make it. Even our close friend, our sister,
Chi. Shout out to Chi.
Shout out to her. She's on here. I'm always like, girl, in Birmingham, forget about it. They got land and acres and acres and acres of land for cheap down there. Well, at least when I was there last, it was cheap. It's going crazy. That's where we need to go, Birmingham. And while she's there, she could just look at the stuff, of course, and invest with us.
Right. Right. You know what? I would probably feel more comfortable investing in Birmingham, Alabama, than in Ohio.
Anywhere it makes sense.
Yeah, anywhere the numbers make sense. Yeah.
I don't care. Like, it could be Alaska, okay? I'm there. Right. That's it. The numbers just have to make sense. But yeah, Birmingham, we should definitely look at that. Atlanta, oh God, Atlanta was crazy 5 years ago. I wish I would have been heavy.
Market looking down there in Atlanta.
Last time I went to Atlanta, we had houses that were just on the market going into contract while we were stuck in traffic. I'm like, well, I didn't even get to look at the house. Like, it was going like that.
Wow.
So Atlanta is done. And we were trying to get houses around the time they had the Super Bowl. So that was like 2 years ago.
Right.
So ever since that Super Bowl, it's been crazy. And the same thing with KC. They just won a Super Bowl. So it's nuts. That's why the houses that I did buy, the value shot up like crazy. Cool. So you gotta, predict what's happening, forecast what's happening in the future. Even though the future looks weird and gray, we don't know what's gonna happen. You have to look at cities.
It's going to be a wild one. You thought 2020 was crazy. 2021 is going to be a wild one.
But if you think about it, if you go against the grain, go to where people are gonna think about where people may flock to so it can be affordable.
Right.
Versus where they are now, that's how you're gonna make your money. Right. So if you're gonna go into cities where it was cheap, now people will move there because it's affordable. You own there, they're gonna be renting from you, and they're not gonna miss their payments because they can afford it. They're leaving a city because they couldn't afford it, But I still say Section 8 is never late. Right. So I would still do 70% Section 8 and then maybe 30% cash tenants. So at least no matter what, your Section 8 tenants is covering your mortgage.
Right. You definitely going to get your money. You ain't even got to worry about that.
Even if they don't pay their portion, you getting your money. And their portion, you don't need their portion to cover your mortgage anyway. So that's what I will say. Yep. So sometime soon, we're gonna get together. We're gonna work on a plan together.
Absolutely.
To get you some lots, get you motivated to go into long distance investing.
I need those lots. I'm gonna have to muster up a little courage to go out of state, though, man.
You ain't got nothing to lose. What you gonna lose?
Everything.
No, you can't. I'm telling you, the opportunity has to be there.
Huh?
The opportunity just has to be there.
Right.
Because let's say the people that purchased that lot for $100,000, what if the market crashes and it's going to cost them $300 to build a house?
At least, yeah.
Right, and then the market crashed from that 550 range to 400. They lost because they bought it too high.
Right, exactly.
But I already know who bought it in my mind. they don't care because they keep land
They
anyway.
keep it in their family. I got a good idea in my mind too. They gonna
Right.
keep
So
it
if
in
you're
their
gonna
family.
keep it, you're gonna keep it. If you're gonna keep it, you're good.
Yeah.
No matter what. But that wasn't nobody trying to flip a house.
Yeah.
That was somebody that was gonna keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some investors out there that do buy and hold, so that's why they was able to go that high. But I still say go cheaper is always better, just in case. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But this was great. We'll catch up soon. I do want to encourage everybody, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the Journey to DevelopHer podcast. Make sure you go and watch all the other 5 episodes that we have up there. We have some incredible ladies. We actually have a private money lender on episode 2, I believe. That may be your Linda right there, Moo.
Oh, I ain't check out episode 2 too. I checked out.
You better check it out.
The first one, the third one,
okay,
and the fourth one. Mm-hmm.
The 4th one. Number 2 was good. She's a private money lender out of California. And she's also a developer. So you just never know what come out of, just the information that's on the podcast. Right. So I encourage everybody to go check it out, go subscribe, go share it with somebody. These next couple of episodes are going to be inspirational. I am talking about God because I am a Christian and God has brought me through a lot. So it's not going to just be real estate. It's about real estate development and personal development and self-development. And I had to go through that whole journey. So I encourage everybody to go check it out. Share it with your friends and family. Mm-hmm. God willing, I will have like a master class, a free master class coming out, hopefully before the month is over, if I can get it finished. And I'm going to start a Facebook group where we'll be able to interact with each other. It'll be a free Facebook group. And those details will hopefully be out soon. So Mo, you better join the group.
I'm in there.
And that's that. So everybody be blessed. Do you want to say anything else?
No, that's it. Peace, everybody.
Right.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you coming.
I'm gonna send you that information, okay?
Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Peace.